Adam, no one likes this assignment, but here we are, So for you, how do you block out kind of that business side of this game and focus mentally on your own game?
I mean, you kind of said it. You just got to focus on your own game. Um, just get what you can out of it and work your way back. That's what I'm going to try and do.
For sure. Obviously a different pace, speed of the game at this level. Do you find that you have to adjust yourself as you approach how you play?
Yeah, I think, I'm sure it'll feel a little bit better tomorrow, but I would say the pace is definitely a little bit slower. So it's a little bit different read for sure. But, I'll get used to it. And, um, I thought we played pretty well tonight, but um, just a few bad turnovers, couple lost guys, and that's the difference. But it seemed like we were the better team through two periods, and then a couple mistakes by us, and that was the game. So um, we'll be back at it tomorrow.
For sure. And so for you personally, kind of what are your goals for your game while you're playing here in Grand Rapids?
Just work on it. That's I guess the big picture. Just work on making plays. Um, like I said, the game's a little bit slower, so just work on making some plays, creating some offense, and just kind of dissecting my game and figuring out exactly what I want to work on and applying it in the games.
Yep. That's all for me. Thanks, Adam.
Yep. Thanks.
Alex, coming into tonight, the boys had won four straight. Kind of what have you seen from the crease that led to more consistent performances from the guys?
I think it's just kind of like I don't know. I don't know honestly because when I got here, and during that conditioning stint, um, I thought the games that we were playing, we were playing hard. We were giving a great effort every single night, and we were finding ways to win. Uh, and obviously tonight sucks, but they were going through a little bit of a rough patch, before I came down. So I can't really say as to why that was and what was going on, but you know, we played hard tonight. Um, probably had some chances there. We had some chances. Probably could have made it 3 or 4-1. At any point there, but or 4-0 really. But they got some bounces. They came out in the third. They were ready to work, and they worked. They earned those two goals, and we got to learn from it, but move on quickly and try to get them back tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. Tonight, you guys had alluded to it. You had a good start, but an avalanche of shots really kind of started to come, especially in that third period. How do you and the crease just kind of battle through there when you're getting kind of just peppered consistently?
That's my job to make some saves and keep the guys in it. Um, it's going to happen. We had spurts like that ourselves, or we were having them in their own end and getting some good looks. So
Mhm.
it happens every night. Most every night. That you get some chances, or you kind of you're stuck in your own end for what seems like forever. But that's part of it.
Yeah, and on Manitoba's second goal, it kind of might have looked like you lost the puck there for a second. What did you see on your end on that?
Well, it was a shot from the point. I was going far side, and it's going far side low blocker, and the guy ends up getting a stick on it and taking a very, very very difficult deflection back against the grain back glove side. I mean, that puck was probably going to go, if not at least a foot, 2 feet wide, maybe even more. And then somehow, he ends up putting it on the other side, on the other half of the net. So bad bounce, tough bounce, but you know, those are going to happen. So.
Yeah. And then, obviously every loss is tough, especially after a win streak. But when you're coming off of that, do you kind of try and, isolate a bunch of positives, or do you just try and move on with the good and the bad?
You got to do both. Obviously, every night you try to take positives away from the game, and at the same time, even if you win, you got to take, you know, you got to learn from things that went wrong, some mistakes. And obviously, it's easier when you lose games to focus on the negatives and focus on the mistakes. But we did a lot of good things tonight. And like I said, tomorrow's a big game. These guys are right in front of us. This is, two big points we gave away tonight, but we have a chance tomorrow to get it back and get back in a little bit of a groove there.
That's all for me. Thanks, Alex.
Next up is Patrick Williams from the AHL.com.
Yeah, Alex, just one for me. Now we're down to about the last two months or so of this season. You've been in high pressure situation in this league, both regular season and playoffs. What do you think some of your younger teammates are going to get now coming down this stretch drive here the last 2 months?
Just some really good experience and understanding that every game, has a meaning. You kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit here. We're I think 9, maybe 11 points out of a playoff spot now, but you want to be playing meaningful games at the end of the year, and obviously you want to make playoffs. And once you get in playoffs, anything can happen. But I think for these guys, it's understanding that every game matters. Every shift matters, right? And you can take something away from everything that you do. And like I said, to be able to play in a situation like this where you're chasing teams in front of you, you're playing for your life pretty much every single game at this point now. Every game is kind of a must win, and every time you lose, it's obviously it gets farther and farther away from you. So trying to just play like every game's your last game from here on forward now.
Thank you.
Next up, Bob Duff from Detroit Hockey Now.
Alex, I was just wondering, you started the season in Detroit with Elmer Soderblom. Now you're playing with him here in Grand Rapids. What do you see in his development at this stage of the season? And, for a young guy and his first taste of North American pro hockey.
He's starting to play with a lot of confidence. He's a big body, especially down here. Even up top there, he was playing with some confidence, but you can kind of see it. He's trying to make plays, and he's playing with a little bit of an edge too. He's trying to be a little physical at times, which is great. So, I think as long as he kind of focuses on that side of it, playing hard, being difficult to play against. I mean, he's got all the skill in the world, all the talent in the world, and at his size, he's going to be a handful for anybody at any level. So, just to find a way to play with that edge consistently, which he's starting to kind of do.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Elmer, numbers wise, you certainly look better on paper now than your first 4 or 5 games down there. Do you feel your game's better right now than it was when you first got there?
Yeah, I feel I'm improving every single game, and it feels better and better.
Is it, Alex just said he sees more of an edge to your game since the start of the season. Is that something you've kind of consciously tried to do, to play with more of an edge, be more physical?
Yeah, of course. I want to play my best game and use my size and my skills also. So yeah, I'm trying to use that.
What was the emotions like when you get the word that you kind of lost out in the numbers game and you're going down? After starting your first season in the NHL, that had to be a bit of an emotional letdown, I would imagine.
Yeah, of course. It was real fun to start the season in the NHL, and but yeah, at the same time, I'm just gonna take it positive and just keep developing my game and become a better player.
I imagine you're getting more ice time down here. Is that all part of the development process? You're getting a lot more chance, I would assume, to do what
Yeah.
you can do best down here.
Yeah, of course. You need to play a lot of games and a lot of minutes to become better. So yeah, I'm happy that I'm playing many minutes here.
Was there an adjustment to the pace at all when you coming down from the NHL?
I mean, it's a little bit different, but I would say it's pretty much the same pace. I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Coach, you guys, started off this game real well, and Manitoba grabbed momentum back, especially there in that third period. What made this one hard to sustain the early rush?
These games are they're funny to play in. Both teams, everyone in the league was on All-Star break, came back, have one practice. I thought both teams are rusty kind of coming into the game. I actually didn't mind our start, and then second period kind of puck management was a little bit of an issue. And then the third period, we just kind of dug ourselves a little bit of a hole, made a couple of mistakes on reads in the D zone and stuff we talked about, and then ends up in the back for net.
Yep. And then, leading into the All-Star break, this team was enjoying some of the most consistent success it had seen this season. Other than maybe a couple new faces in the lineup, what have you seen that's had this team playing more consistently of late?
Well, I think first of all, our depth in the lineup has been much more substantial than it has all year, especially up front. Our goaltending has been way more consistent with both Victor and Alex, obviously coming down from Detroit, and confidence. I mean, anytime you start to win, you feel good about yourselves, and you get down, you find a way to win. Even tonight, the confidence is there. So it's just making sure that you're learning from your mistakes. I think a lot of it tonight, it's very correctable. Just a lot of rust from having 4 days off.
Yep. Speaking of that confidence, Jacob Vrana had come in here with 8 points in his last 7 games. Seemed like a completely different player than he was the last month. Just speaking of everything going on the ice for him, what have you noticed about just his confidence and his skill in his game?
Well, his skill with the puck. Obviously he's a tremendous player with the puck. Play away from the puck, no different than a lot of players. We got to make sure that we're in good, sound defensive positions to put yourself. If you play well, you play hard defensively, you're going to have the puck more and play more offense. So he's no different than a lot of guys that need to focus on that. But I think, again, Jacob's got his legs underneath him finally. He, obviously missed a little bit of time there, a lot of time. And again, he's found a way to have fun with the game again. So it's good to see he's in a good place. He's been good for us. So the last little bit he's been good. Just got to make sure we're reinforcing the positives and make sure we're learning from the mistakes. And he's no different than any other player on our team that will inevitably make mistakes. We got to make sure we're learning from him.
Mm-hmm. And then on the broadcast tonight, it was announced that Cross Hannes would miss the remainder of the year. He had a good start to the season. And just how would you assess Hannes's first pro season despite its early end?
Well, first of all, I didn't realize that we disclosed players' injuries to the public, but that's something I'll have to take up. I think that Cross came in this year and had a really good start to his first year pro. Was very competitive. Obviously, coming from juniors, I think some of these you hear about, prototypical junior mistakes, or they cheat the game a little bit. He was able to rely solely on his skill to kind of outscore his mistakes, which you could see some of his habits from juniors, those kind of junior habits. But I thought that as the first month progressed, he did show growth. He learned. The biggest thing that we were happy with as a staff, as an organization, was he was competitive. He was physical. He was getting his nose dirty, so he wasn't afraid to go to hard areas. Then he got hurt with the shoulder earlier, and then came back and they got injured again. So it's tough for him. But knowing Cross, his character, his work ethic, he'll be fine. Hopefully, comes back stronger when he's ready to go.
Yep. That's all for me. Thanks, Coach. Hope I got no one in trouble with that one.
You're good. It's not. You won't be in trouble.
Next up is Patrick Williams.
Yeah, and just one for me. We're down to the final 2 months or so of the season. What will young players who've not really been through a playoff race in this league need to do in order to have success down the stretch here?
Well, I think every game is huge from this point forward. We were in a position today to get back to 500 for the first time in a long time, and we've got to find a way to get back to par and then build off that. I do think that we've turned a corner a little bit in the last month and a half, and making sure that we're not getting too disappointed with not banking points or losing a game, and not getting too discouraged when we don't play great, and not getting too high when we find ways to win. So good teams find ways to win, and good teams find ways to rebound. And that's, come down the stretch here, we can't afford to drop points to teams that are immediately in front of us.
And finally, we have Bob Duff.
And Ben, you've obviously had an influx of a lot of elite, highly skilled players from the Red Wings in the last little while, and that's great. But like anything else, chemistry is a big part of it. You got a lot of new faces, and I know that's kind of life in the minor leagues, that the rosters are always changing and in flux. But is that a challenge, that even though these are highly talented players, to just get all the pieces to fit together quickly?
Well, it is tough at times, and obviously we've got with the developmental rule or the veteran rule, whatever you want to call it. We sat out two players tonight. One, Brian Lashoff, who's our team captain, who's played 800 plus games in this league, and Alex Chason, who's played 700 plus NHL games. So, it's a different kind of balance uh, of managing personalities and maintaining a team first mentality whilst still understanding that every player still wants to, whether you're a first year pro or a 10th year pro, and the aim to want to A, help the team, and B, get to the highest level possible. That's the juggling act. So it is tough, but every team goes through it, like you just alluded to. Every team goes through it. I don't think that's an excuse. Good players find ways to play well, no matter who they're playing with, no matter the situation. They find a way to help their team have success. So we're no different. We've had a lot of tough decisions to make with the depth that we've had. So those aren't bad decisions to have, but when you are rotating guys in and out, and it's a kind of a different lineup every night, it can be tough for chemistry, but I don't think that's an excuse.
And I want to ask you about Elmer Soderblom. I mean, numbers wise, he didn't get off to the greatest start there, and now he seems to have it rolling. Has there been a difference that you see in his game now that he's putting up points, or was it just a matter of the points coming?
Well, you know what? It's funny, you talk about points and evaluating a player. Like, I think that's foolish to evaluate players on points. I think the points come when you play the right way and you're competitive, and you do things the right way. So those points are coming because he's playing a little bit quicker. He's moving his feet. He's playing a little bit heavier on the puck. Those are all things that are kind of intertwined. They're connected. But you can't evaluate a player just based on points. I think that's stupid, to be honest with you. If you're playing the right way, it'll take care of itself. But Elmer is another young kid that is, he's got to figure it out, and he's starting to figure it out slowly but surely. And a big body like that has a unique skill set, the future's bright for him.
Is there an adjustment period when a guy like that, who obviously came over here, he makes the NHL right off the bat, and then on mid-season he gets told he's going down? Was there a bit of maybe a shock to his system at first?
Well, I can't speak for him, but I'm sure he was disappointed. But if he was, he didn't show it. He's been a good pro. He's been his demeanor, his attitude, his work ethic. Can't question that for a second. So we're happy with his commitment to this team, his commitment to his career, his commitment to the future of the Red Wings. So he understands that this is pro hockey, and pro hockey is very competitive, and he understands that he's got to continue to work and continue to improve his game to get back to where he wants to be.
Obviously, with his size, if he plays the game with a physical edge, that's certainly going to give him an advantage.
Well, you can't, the old adage, you can't teach size. So he is a big boy. He's a large man, and playing consistently with the tenacity that he's capable of, obviously will help him.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ben.
You're welcome.